Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out of the shadow. It's a brand new.
Step Out, Step In podcast. Live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out of the shadow. It's a brand new day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Step Out, Step In podcast, episode 142. Yesterday we had a little bit of technical challenges. We usually stream on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but due to the technical challenges, we decided to stream this morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to welcome you this morning to episode 142 of my Step Out, Step In podcast. You know, this is the podcast where we challenge you to step out of what is familiar to step into what God has prepared for you. I am your host, David Gyawu, and this morning we are going to be talking about how to jump from unproductivity into productivity. You know, not someday, not next week, not next year, but starting now, starting out. So I want you to invite somebody. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so. Don't forget to click on the notification bell so that anytime something is posted, you will be notified. And follow us on Facebook as well. I just want you to do me a big favor. If you can share the link with at least one person, let that one person share with another person. And also let us know where you are watching from. And stay tuned. Welcome to Step Out, Step In podcast, the podcast created to help you move from where you are to where God has called you to be. This is not just motivation. This is real growth, real conversations, and practical faith for everyday life. On this podcast, you'll gain clarity, biblical insight, and encouragement to help you navigate purpose and leadership and mindset and life's transitions with confidence. Each episode challenges you to step out of fear, doubt, and limitation and step into purpose, discipline, maturity, and direction. You can watch us on YouTube, connect with us on Facebook, and listen anytime on Lipson. If you're ready to grow, ready to be challenged, and ready to take your next step, this podcast is for you. This is Step Out, Step In podcast, because your next level begins with your next step. Tune in live on YouTube and Facebook every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, again, welcome to Step Out, Step In podcast, the rescheduled version of episode 142 live on YouTube and Facebook. As I said earlier, we stream on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And because we had some challenges yesterday or last night, we are streaming this morning. So if you're joining us this morning, I want to welcome you. And I'm so excited to be here with you this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you're watching from, as well as this evening. Or if you happen to watch the replay, depending on what time you happen to watch it. And again, let us know where you're watching from. If you can drop that in the comment section, let's know where you're watching from. All right, so this morning we're talking about jump, moving from unproductivity to productivity. And let me start by asking you this question: that have you ever felt busy, not productive? Maybe you're tired, but you can point to what you actually accomplished. Your days are full, yet your progress feels empty. You are not lazy, you are not unqualified, you are just stuck. And sometimes the only way out of a stuck place isn't to tiptoe forward, but it is to jump. Because productivity doesn't begin with doing more, it begins with deciding to move. There's a decision you have to make. Unproductivity is often misunderstood, ladies and gentlemen. It is not always inactivity. Sometimes it is motion without direction, it is effort without focus, energy without intention. Productivity, on the other hand, is purposeful. It is a purposeful progress. And to move from point A to point B, you need more than motivation, you need a shift. So today, as I said earlier, we're using the word jump, JUMP, as an acronym. And we want to dive into it. We want to jump into it. But just before we get into it, we want to look at the definition of a jump. And let's get into this right here. So the first definition, I said, this is a verb from the. It says to push yourself off a surface using your legs and move suddenly into the air or forward or upward in one quick motion. So, as a verb, jump means to push yourself off a surface using your legs and move suddenly into the air or forward or upward in one quick motion. Now, if we look at jump as a noun, it is the act of springing off the ground or a surface. It is the act of springing off the ground or a surface. So, in other words, its core, the core of jump is it involves the force plus intention plus movement away from where you were. So again, its core is a jump involves force plus intention plus movement away from where you were. You know, common physical instances of jump. We can look at a few of them, and we can look at sports and fitness. Sports and fitness. When we look at some of the physical in sports, jumping to shoot a basketball, hurdling in track and field, high jump, long jump events, jump squats or box jumps in workouts, volley, spike jumps. When we look at play and recreation, um, leaping over paddles, playing hopscotch, avoiding and or clearing something, you jump over fences, jump across small streams, jump out of danger. And I mean, we have multiple examples of jump. And when it comes to the extreme or adventure activities, skydiving, that is on my bucket list. Uh, uh, we can talk of bungee jumping. That I don't think I have the courage to do it. And cliff jumping into water. And emotional or relaxed jumping, not all jumps are planned. Sometimes you jump when startled by a loud noise, when you're scared or something, jump back from something that really scares you, jumping away from scary or unexpected stuff. And when we're talking about the figurative uh, jumps, you jump into decisions or transitions, jump into a new job, jump out of a comfort zone and all that. And tonight, Oh, did I say tonight? Sorry about that. I was so much used to this morning, this morning or this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you're watching from. You know, in all these cases, jump means moving forward boldly, moving forward boldly, and often before you feel 100% ready. Or four intentional moves that will help you and I to step out of stagnation and step into action. So now let's jump into it. So we are going to jump. And I said we're using the word jump as an acronym to help us shift from a place of unproductivity to a place of productivity. 2026 is one of the years that we have to be very intentional. We don't have to leave it to chance. We don't have to take it for granted, but you and I will have to be very intentional. So we are going to jump into this, and we're using the first letter. It was Leonard Ravenhill who said that the opportunity of a lifetime needs to be seized during the lifetime of the opportunity. Let me say it again. The opportunity of a lifetime needs to be seized during the lifetime of the opportunity. In other words, what he was saying that once the opportunity comes, you have to seize it, you have to jump into it. Sometimes you might get it again if you let it pass, but you might not have that energy, that strength, that ability to seize it when it comes again. So as to when you have the strength, the ability, and the and all the energy, when that opportunity comes, that is when you have to seize it, and you seize it during the lifetime of that opportunity. So as we journey through 2026, you want to ensure that you and I is the letter U. It means use what you have. Use what you have. I always say that everybody has something to offer. Nobody was brought into this world empty handed. God packaged you, gave you gift, talents, and abilities. I mean, you were specially made. You were custom made, and you're loaded with abilities that nobody else has except you. One of the biggest productivity killers is comparison. You know, when you keep comparing yourself to others, that is what really, 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 really affects you. Thank you so much, Reverend Daniel. Thank you, man of God. All right, so you know, and sometimes the way we compare ourselves is you say that I don't have enough time. But guess what? We all have 24 hours in a day. We have 525,600 minutes in a year, or 8,760 hours in a year. We've already blown some of it, but we all have the same amount of time in a year, 24 hours a day. Nobody has less, nobody has more. We all have the same amount of time. And sometimes we say that, oh, I don't have enough resources, or I don't have what they have. They also don't have what you have. But productivity doesn't start with what you wish you had. It starts with what's already in your hand or in your house. As a person of faith, let me say this. You know, when you look through the scriptures, Moses had a rod, and with that rod, he was able to deliver the children of Israel out of bondage from Egypt, out of slavery from Egypt, to journey through to the promised land, even though he did not get there. David had a sling and 5 stones, and out of the 5 stones, he used just 1 stone to bring down the national challenge called Goliath. He only had a sling and a stone to bring down the national challenge. The widow who went to Elisha to tell Elisha about the creditors coming for her sons because the husband who had passed away owed so much. And when Elisha asked her, "What do you have in your house?" She said, "I have nothing but a jar of oil." She hadn't, I mean, she didn't have any faith in that oil, but that was what brought her that deliverance. That was what brought her that breakthrough. Samson only had a fresh jaw or jawbone of a donkey, and that became a weapon to which he used to slay 1,000 Philistines. Ladies and gentlemen, use what you have. There is something that you have that nobody else has. Use your time, however limited it feels. Use your skills, even if they're still developing. Use your voice, your ideas, your space, your influence. Use what you have. And of course, you do have something. You know, I always say this. I love to sing, but singing is not my thing. But at least God gave me the voice. That is what I'm using at this present moment. So let's stop waiting for more to start working with now. Whatever you have now, use it. Use it to the to the best of your ability. You don't need more hours. You don't need more money. You don't need more connections. You need better stewardship of what you already have. When you use what you have consistently, productivity follows naturally. So when you use what you have consistently, productivity follows naturally. So the U is use what you have. The letter M, the letter M, the letter M is make a move. Make a move. Productivity requires motion. Thinking is good, ladies and gentlemen, but thinking alone won't produce results. Planning is necessary, but planning alone without action becomes a trap. At some point, you have to move. At some point, you have to move. You have to send that email. You have to write the first page. You have to make the call. You have to start the outline. You have to take the step. And small moves matter. Small moves. You know, those small steps, it will take you somewhere. It will make you productive. You know, when I thought about starting this podcast, where after I wrote the book, you know, I wanted to actually start something. And when I thought about it, I started putting the plans in place, but the plans weren't going anywhere until I took the step and put action towards it. When you look at the first few episodes, I mean, it's not as it is now. I've seen improvement as I do it day in and day out. I'm not there yet, but I'm still I'm a work in progress. Let me put it that way. So don't wait that you don't wait for the perfect time. Just make the move. You don't need that a giant leap. You need momentum. Momentum is created when movement becomes a habit. Don't underestimate the power of one intentional action today. Progress compounds when movement becomes consistent. So you have to make that progress. You have to make the movement. If you're waiting for confidence, here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Confidence grows when you move, not before you move. You know, I can tell myself that I have built confidence from this. You can go back and look at the previous episodes. I guess you can go back to episode 1 and look at episode 1. You can tell that there's been a difference because I'm building confidence every day I do this. So make that move. 2026, let's make that move. I always say that we're all in this journey together. Let's hold each other's hand and let's make the move. The letter P stands for protect your focus. The letter P stands for protect your focus. You cannot be productive without focus, ladies and gentlemen. Distraction is one of the greatest threats to purpose. And of course, in this present dispensation or in this present generation, we are distracted by all kinds of things. I mean, noise in the street, noise everywhere, social media. I mean, there's so much distractions going on. But if you and I want to move in the right direction, we have to stay focused. Distractions are unavoidable. They will come all the same. But it is up to you and I to be intentional and to be focused. You know, in this world full of noise, focus has become a discipline. It has become a discipline, and it is a discipline. Productivity requires boundaries, healthy boundaries, let me put it that way. You must protect your time, you must protect your energy, and you must protect your attention. Permit me to say it one more time. You know, productivity requires boundaries, and you must protect your time, your energy, and your attention. Everything deserves attention, ladies and gentlemen, but not everything deserves your attention. Everything deserves attention, but not everything deserves your attention. So you ask yourself, what drains me? What distracts me? And what pulls me away from my priorities? You know, I always say that we have this gadgets in our hand. There's something like this in our hand, and it can be a great distraction. At the same time, it can be a very great tool you can use to be productive. So when you ask yourself every day and every morning when you wake up, what drains me? I mean, you can just look over your shoulders and ask yourself, yesterday as I went through the day, as you take stock of what you went through yesterday, what drained me the most? What distracted me? What pulled me away from my priorities? And productivity is one thing that you and I need. And of course, productive people aren't doing everything. People that are productive, they are not doing everything. They are doing the right things consistently. And the key word here is being consistent. Consistency is the reason why we decided to stream this morning instead of when we had those technical challenges yesterday. We could have pushed it back to next week and to give ourselves an excuse for not being able to stream last night. But because we want to remain consistent, we decided to push it this morning and to fulfill what we should have done yesterday. Of course, I mean, you cannot bank on it 100%, and, it, and everything happens for a reason as well. So focus isn't about doing more, ladies and gentlemen. It's about doing what matters most on purpose. You want me to say that again? Thank you. Focus isn't about doing more. It is about doing what matters most on purpose. So as we journey through 2026, let's be determined that you and I are going to be focused. All right, so let's do a quick recap as we begin to run up or run down, or uh, let's do a quick recap. Okay, so using the word jump as an acronym, we said the number one, the letter J stands for decide, just decide. Decide to decide. Let me put it that way. Use what you have. Whatever gift, talent, ability you have, the skill you have, use it. Use what you have. Make a move and protect your focus. Protect your focus. All right, so let's wrap up. And in wrapping up, I say that unproductivity isn't permanent, ladies and gentlemen. Apart from the Word of God that is permanent, everything else will come and go. Unproductivity is it's a place, not a prison. So don't lock yourself up in it. And today, you and I have permission to jump. We have that permission to just decide, use what you have, make a move, and protect your focus. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to do that overnight. You just need to move with intention. You just need to move with one decision. And you just need to move with one step at a time. It is little by little. It is a process. And we have to go through the process. We cannot bypass the process to get to the end product. I always say that. So let me say this. If this episode has encouraged you in a way, or if it has challenged you, or if it has helped you shift from your perspective, here's what I want you to do. Here is what I want you to do. If you can write it down, or if you can jot it somewhere, or if you can put it in the comments, choose one area of your life where you need to jump and take action today. I started by saying that it's not going to be next week, it is not going to be next year, but it's going to be now. Some actions need to be taken right away. Don't sleep over it. Don't overthink over it, but just take the action now. Choose one area of your life where you need to jump and take action today. And also, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube page if you haven't yet done so. And to this podcast, follow me on Facebook or wherever you listen to podcasts. We've started uploading some of the podcasts on Libsyn, and Libsyn sends it to all the other podcast stations. They send it to YouTube and other places. So look out for that as well. And I want you to share this episode with someone who feels stuck, but know they are called for more. I know you are called for more. There's something bigger on the inside of you. Remember, you don't step into productivity by accident. It is something that you do intentionally. You have to be intentional. You have to do it with purpose. So step into it, step into it, and step into it on purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I want to thank you so much for your time, for this time. And don't forget to let us know where you're watching from. If you can drop that in the comment section. Leave us a review or a comment. Yes, a review. Nice ones, though. And please share with at least one person. God willing, next Monday we'll come back your way live on YouTube and Facebook. This is Step Out, Step In. And again, my name is David Gyawu. I'm your host, and it is time to move. Have a wonderful and amazing, lovely, fruitful, productive week. And let's meet on Monday, same Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And have a wonderful day. I love you, and there's nothing you can do. Stay blessed as always. Goodbye.
Step out of the shadow. It's a brand new day. Leave the fear behind. There's a brighter way. Every step you take, you're closer to